He was with me, begging forgiveness, telling me to take a moment and he
The couple that once made headlines with their bitter divorce may be on the verge of a shocking reunion from professional collaboration to covert financial support. He was with me pleading for forgiveness and telling me to take a moment and that he would see it and that we were meant to be together. Is Wendy Williams really considering taking Kevin Hunter back? Oh my god, welcome back to our channel, everyone. Today we're diving deep into the sensational news that's circulating around town. Wendy Williams finally speaks on taking Kevin Hunter back. Yes, you heard that right. The twists and turns of their relationship have taken an unexpected direction, and I've got all the evidence. I've got all the sizzling details on why Wendy might just be willing to forgive and forgive. Stay tuned, because you won't believe what insiders are saying. The Wendy Williams and Kevin Hunter saga seems to be taking a new turn, or shall we say revisiting. The old word on the street is that Kevin Hunter's singing a different tune these days. He's allegedly putting out all the stops to win Wendy back. However, Wendy appears to be in two minds about it. But isn't it always complicated when old flames try to reignite? Social media has been buzzing with this surprising update when the news broke about Wendy possibly considering a reunion with Kevin. The internet was set ablaze. Fans couldn't help but voice out their concerns, pleading with Wendy not to take that route after Kevin's past transgressions. Remember, the last round wasn't too pleasant for Wendy. But hey, here we are with Kevin rumored to be down on his knees, desperate for a reunion after in Wendy words he did her dirty. She was having something of an existential crisis where she was like, how am I not talking about this? But I can't because what's the deal? Is Kevin genuinely longing for lost love? Or is there an ulterior motive? The grapevine has it that his eyes might be set on Wendy's wealth. Some skeptics are even murmuring about a sinister plot to maneuver Wendy into conservatorship. Oh, as the drama doesn't stop, as one fan painted, quite literally pulled out my spray paint and I spray painted Kevin and Wendy forever. And to this day, it still is, but forever. In what sense? Taking a trip down memory lane. It's been only 4 years since Wendy hit the courthouse to dissolve her marriage with Kevin following the news of Sharina Hudson's pregnancy. The shocking bit, their illicit rendezvous dates back to 2007, and Kevin, playing the role of a lavish sugar daddy, wasn't discreet about showering Sharina with Wendy's hard-earned cash. In a startling revelation, it's come to light that Kevin even went to the extent of buying Sharina a house, get this, merely 9 miles away from where he and Wendy resided. Picture, and I read about it in the blogs and tabloids, the address of this place that he had purchased to share with this back. The audacity, right? And Kevin Hunter's efforts to support his mistress went beyond the romantic realm. He was all in with his wallet too. And not just once or twice. Remember the time he set up a massive store in her hometown of South Carolina? Well, despite its downfall, after only a few months, Kevin's spirit was unfazed, and he moved on to open an online clothing and jewelry store called Vish. The venture was a failure, but Kevin was not prepared to give up. The man's tenacity was nothing short of amazing, or perhaps puzzling, as he continued to invest Wendy's money in these failing ventures. This is really going. How about a vegan company? Yes, Kevin was willing to explore every business avenue in support of Wendy. Oh, and let's not forget that he was also providing for her financially as he established all of these enterprises for her using Wendy's money. Of course, I am paying out now, so life is not perfect for Wendy and Kevin. Wendy was aware of Kevin's extracurricular activities with Sharina, but they had a special connection. Kevin was free to have his affair, but he was unable to get Sharina pregnant. As fate would have it, however, that narrative turned out rather differently. After Wendy was deeply betrayed, she was forced to take extreme steps to get married. When Kevin crossed the line, Wendy was swift to act and fired him from both her life and his career on The Wendy Show. I've known about her nearly from the beginning, and I've known that Kevin is a serial chief. We catch a glimpse of the intense moment in Wendy's remarks. Because I made my husband my boss and forced him to be dismissed when I wanted to divorce him, making him simultaneously divorced and jobless. I don't advise you to work with your husband. While initially agreeing to pay him alimony, Wendy had her lawyers craft a clause that was as clever as it was cunning. If Wendy stopped working on The Wendy Show, the alimony payments would cease. Wendy played the long game, and it appears that Kevin either didn't read that clause or simply didn't care. but Kevin was fired because I got a divorce. Instead of seeking for employment, Kevin and Sharina chose to live off Wendy's money, which was monotonous because they had no meaningful investments or sources of income. This decision was a house of cards ready to fall. The more successful I got, and the more he got, and the more we believed in each other, the more of a jerk he became. Then came the turn of events that revealed the significance of Wendy's plotative mindset. The Wendy show was canceled after she became seriously ill, and bam, the alimony payments stopped. Overnight, Kevin's smooth sail turned into a stormy sea without a source of income or any successful investments. The situation illustrates the risky game Kevin and Sharina were playing by heavily relying on Wendy's alimony payments. Kevin's response was nothing short of frantic, claiming that inordinate amounts of people took advantage of my absence, and her vulnerability at the time, and he even demanded to see all the bank records. Wendy's strategic planning had set a trap, and Kevin walked right into it. It was rough, It was very public. It was like any other divorce. Public pleas and desperation began to take over as the person tried to guilt-trip Wendy into paying up. Who could forget the public pleas? Their financial state rapidly deteriorated because they had no backup plan or alternative sources of income. The emotion was raw and the desperation evident, but those tears didn't transform into money, so the court became the next battleground. I have gone behind on most of my obligations. I now live in a community that demands payments to the Homeowners Association, and I'm overdue on that account. The hope was that a judge would order Wendy to pay alimony to stave off bankruptcy, but alas, the case was thrown out of court, and the individual was back to square one. The struggle was real, and it seemed like the universe had one more cruel twist in store just when it looked like things couldn't get any worse. The unthinkable happened. To break up with Sharina. Turns out, it wasn't even Kevin who broke up with Sharina. She dumped him so obviously after all the turmoil. The only person who would come to catch Vin's rescue was Wendy. The gossip has just started here, folks. Just when you thought Wendy had washed her hands of Kevin, insiders are now hinting that she might just accept him back. Can you believe it? Here's the juice you need to understand why this is not as crazy as it seems. First off, let's not forget that Kevin wasn't just Wendy's husband, he was her producer. Their professional collaboration started back in 2008 when Kevin became an executive producer for The Wendy Williams Show under his guidance. Once the show thrived, reaching millions of viewers, insiders from her team, including former production assistant Jane Doe, name change for privacy, even claimed that Kevin was the driving force behind some of the show's biggest successes. So despite their personal troubles, there's no denying their professional chemistry, and with Kevin's knack for the business, who's to say he can't return to her fame by launching a new show? Now onto the personal stuff. Insiders at Believe It or Not have stated that Wendy was aware of Kevin's history of infidelity, but tolerated it. Former close friend and confidant Sarah Smith, who has changed her name, alleges that Wendy was ignorant of Kevin's extramarital affairs as early as 2010. Things didn't start to go south until Kevin had a child on the side. The clincher: Wendy's forgiveness might not be as improbable as it first appears. Payments made to Kevin's accounts dating back to July 2022 and verified by financial analyst Mark Johnson show that Wendy has been paying some of his bills from her personal money. Is this the act of an ex-spouse who has moved on, or does it signal something more?